Hello there, Internet. Thank you very much for inviting me onto your screens today. Now, I've just gotten back from seeing Man of Steel, and I figured I might as well, just videotape my, just tell you my impressions. I'm kind of interested in this whole critiquing thing, and well, I just thought this might be a good opportunity. So just go with this initial reactions type thing. Right, so not sure if I should come out and say my opinion, or if I should build up to it. I suppose I might as well just come out and say it, give an overall thing so you can understand. Might give it away with my explanations anyway. Yeah, 3 words just sum up my feelings towards this film. I don't care. I mean, bloody hell. This is friggin' Superman, my second favourite fictional character of all time, the best superhero of all time. And I didn't care. Did not care. I can barely say I cared about him. Didn't care about the villains. They weren't sympathetic or anything. Then again, I don't suppose they were supposed to be sympathetic, maybe towards the end. But, okay, so never mind the villains. I barely cared about him, maybe the slightest bit, just because of some of the earlier scenes. Well, I can't say I cared about him towards the end. I think. Probably. Maybe. I didn't care about the supporting cast, most certainly. I didn't care about the supporting cast. Lois Lane, Perry White being, oddly enough, played by Lawrence Fishburne, but I'm not trying to be racist here, I promise. It's very kind of weird how a black man's playing a role that's been a white character. Again, not being racist, I promise. I'm just saying it's kind of weird, a bit iffy. But I didn't care about him, didn't care about whoever the heck that balding guy was, I didn't care about whoever the heck that wifey intern was. I didn't care about the colonel that was played by what's-his-name from Law and Order. I didn't care about the general. I don't know if I was really supposed to care about him, but I didn't care. I didn't care about Metropolis being destroyed. Didn't care. It's just unbelievable. They slap these things on screen, they just expect you to fucking care. But I didn't. I did not care, Zack Snyder. You have to make me care. That is how it works. I don't care about the characters, I don't care about the locations, I'm not going to care about what happens to them. Ergo, I won't care about the story. Because the story is what's happening to them. And I'm explaining, I don't mean to be talking down to you by explaining that's just how I am. But point being, I didn't care. Did not care. Obviously bad stuff goes down. There are times when you're obviously meant to care about who it's happening to or what it's happening to. But I didn't. I simply didn't. I'm going to sound like a broken record soon enough, because that's just the main problem with the film. I didn't care. I probably already sound like a broken record. So first and foremost, all in all, if I don't care, I can't like the film. I can't like it if I don't care about anything that happens within it. Ugh. I think I'm just putting this on for dramatic effect here. Probably most of those. But and aside from that, because that right there is the biggest problem in the entire film. You don't care. I cared about maybe one character, that would be Jor-El, and that Cal Supes' father. That'd probably just be because he had a scene where he was, kind of pretty cool in what he was doing. Like I said, it sounds kind of shallow, but that's just how it was. He was doing cool things, and maybe as a result of that, and plus he was actually a half-decent character himself, and maybe the fact that Russell Crowe, actually did a better job of him than I kind of reckoned he would. I always thought that was weird casting, the guy who's known for action roles like Gladiator or Robin Hood, I guess, playing Jor-El. But he actually did a half-decent job. He himself did a decent job of it, I think. I kind of liked his voice, kind of similar to Marlon Brando in the Richard Donner film. Kind of similar to the whole Britishy thing, English-y thing, but kind of nice tone to it. But I'm going on. I kind of cared about him. In the end, I did kind of care about him. But that's it. Here's the thing I cared about the most in that film. That's pretty much it. With the whole caring thing. I don't know if I'm not sure if I'm forgetting something that I might have cared about, but that's the one thing I do remember caring about, which probably says a lot about the film. Okay, what other problems? A bit of a pacing thing, bit of a pacing problem in there. What was it? How to put it into words? Okay, I guess some things just went from one thing to the other, going from one point A to point B story or character-wise, and not much in the way of understanding, so to speak. Well, a bit of understanding and a bit of it just being kind of clunky, just going from, like I said, point A to point B without much knowing the road between, I guess, so to speak. What was it? I suppose one major thing would be Supes' motivation. I know he's Superman, he's like the paragon of good and all that. Basically, in a sense. Okay, yeah, basically. He's a good guy, and that's why he does these good things. But in the film itself, they don't exactly get into that. They say that, they show how, he has an innate, he innately cares about, saving people, but they don't, I guess you can kind of get with that, how he innately caring, but apart from that, and even then, it's not very much, but apart from that, they don't explain, they don't show how Superman's upbringing is one of the reasons why he is such a good person. I mean, that's a major thing right there, because Jonathan Kent, his adopted dad, at one point he's an idiot and an arsehole. I get the whole logic behind why he's an arsehole, but he's still an arsehole for it. So why would Clark be good being raised by this guy who's only worried about keeping him away from everyone else? For the sake of, keeping everyone else, not scaring them, not sending society into disarray by revealing the existence of an alien and all. But still, that and not getting enough of Jonathan Kent, without seeing his whole upbringing and all that under such loving parents, why should Supes be good after that? Why is he a good guy? His upbringing certainly didn't make me believe that he would become a good guy. Maybe it's an innate thing, but there's only so much innate instincts, innate feelings are going to do. You have to have. Okay, maybe in a sense with that, I'm kind of pulling that out of my arse really, but still, you can't. Point being, they didn't explain enough about his motivations for us to know why he's such a good guy and to get behind him for it. What else? I had something, I can't remember where I was now. I don't know, maybe it'll come back to me later. Well, hopefully, I guess. Go on to what I do remember. And there it goes. I have a terrible short-term memory, I tell you. Sometimes. Logic. or lack thereof, really. That's part of the problem. At one point, there's this bit where Superman doesn't have his powers, and let's see. They say there's this particular thing that takes away his powers. It's not kryptonite or anything, just in case you're rolling your eyes about that. But it takes away his powers, but I don't believe it. I can't buy it, because I know Superman. I know lots about Superman. And even in the film itself, they tell us that it's Earth's sun's, well, it's the sun's, pointing that way, it's night time here. But anyway, it's the sun's radiation that gives him his powers. But it's something quite entirely different that takes them away at one point. And then that thing goes away, but he's inside at that point in a place that has to be airtight, you know, with no windows or anything that I could see. Probably not. I mean, why would there be in that particular bit? And instantly, he's got his powers back. He has his powers back. Just like that. Just like that. No explanation, no sunlight. Just that thing goes away, that thing that has weakened him like hell, taken away his powers, and instantly he's got them back just because that one thing has gone away for like a millisecond. Oi. Dramatic effect. What else? That's one example of some heavy logic in there. I'm pretty sure there was some other stuff, but I can't quite remember right now. Okay, I'm gonna go a bit nitpicky here. Not about much, maybe a bit of complaining, a bit of just questioning. You know, Ursa, the wifey from Superman 2, who works for Zod, and the big guy, Non. I'm pretty sure both of them are in this film, but Non is never named. I don't think you even see maybe you see his face once, but he's in the background. And Ursa isn't called Ursa for some reason. I don't remember what her name was, but I don't think it was Ursa. I may be wrong, I may have misheard, but I didn't outright hear being called Ursa. Just weird. Nitpicking, but just a weird point I wanted to bring up. Okay, let's go into some design stuff with the film. You know, overall. It's more like just with the costumes. Superman's costume in the film. I know pretty much everyone out there ever makes fun of the fact that Supes wears his pants outside of his costume, or for you Americans he wears his underpants outside of his costume, but frankly I think that's a lot better than him not wearing the pants by themselves, like that, not by themselves, I mean on top of the costume, because otherwise, without them, like I've said to other people before, without them he just looks like he's wearing a big onesie. Which I know pretty much he probably essentially is, but it looks just weird. Like he's wearing a wetsuit, I guess. Well, maybe not, that's not the first comparison I'd make, but given the texture of the thing, it kind of does look like a wetsuit. He's just wearing a big onesie, and that doesn't exactly look dignified. And then there's the weird detailing on it. I know, like what was his name, Leon Thomas? I don't know, but that sci-fi guy. I agree with him on one thing. Cat. About how these days some films have a weird thing with making outfits just super detailed, like in this or in Superman Returns or Star Trek. I know he brought up Spider-Man, but I think that kind of worked. You know, that maybe it didn't need to be 3D with the webbing, but I think it looked alright to me. Maybe I just wasn't critically minded then, but back to the topic. His suit looks just super detailed, and it's just pointless and weird. So it's not something, I guess kind of a nitpick in a sense, but it doesn't really affect the film itself, but it does just seem kind of weird to me. Let's see. Okay, here's one thing. Another small thing, but another thing worth bringing up. There's no Fortress of Solitude. Not a proper fortress. You know, there's something like a Kryptonian ship at one point that he goes to for answers and all that, like he does in Richard Donner's Superman. But it's not the Fortress of Solitude. You know, it's up in the cold Arctic, I guess, but it's not the fortress. I'm just wondering why they left that out. I suppose really. It's just nitpicks at this point because I brought up the biggest problem. You know, I don't care, and there's some logical iffiness in there. Some iffy logic in some places. It gets kind of, doesn't exactly get really super bad, but it is kind of off. But I can't say it was a terrible film. I did kind of personally think it's bad, but not terrible. I can't really comment on the story, you know, how solid it is or anything, because, like I said, I don't care about the characters or the places, so why should I care about the story? You know, they care, but the characters care, but I don't care about them, so why should I care about the story? Why should I care about what happens? I can't like the story, because I'm just repeating myself now. Sorry, maybe the story was fine itself, you know, solid and all that, but if I don't care, why? I didn't care. You'd probably be more disappointed. You know, I'm a massive fan of Superman. I even did the whole rip open thing when I went there with my friends just tonight. And I was kind of hyped up. You know, I was looking forward to going to see it, but I suppose I didn't really have any expectations. Now, I didn't think it'd be great, but I wanted it to at least be good. You know, I somewhat thought about that. So I can't really say I'm disappointed, but I wound up stumbling on some other reviews. I didn't actually read them, but I saw comments on reviews, like kind of synopses about the reviews themselves. And that kind of gave me a bad impression of the film, so I didn't really expect much. And I didn't get much. I did not get much at all. So, not a terrible film. It's not really harmful of a film. You know, it's not outragingly bad. Except maybe one particular bit. Like with how arsehole Jonathan Kent is. And some stupidity points. Just a couple big stupidity points. Like when. Okay, that's kind of spoilers, but yeah, there's some points there that are just so stupid that I just found myself repeating. Maybe not the first time, but I certainly said what they should have done in that particular bit. There's some points where just stupid stuff happens. A couple of points I just repeated to myself again and again what they should do, and they don't do it. Simply to serve the plot, really, I guess. In a sense, I suppose. Certainly in that one last bit, that was just so stupid. Okay, pacing. Was that what I forgot? Pacing? Oh no, I don't think it was. But pacing is another problem. Like I said, point A to point B, not good enough. Okay, here's some very good action. The action with the Kryptonians, you know, like with Supes and Zod and his ilk. Although while I'm on that subject, it's kind of weird how Zod has a bunch of people on his side. It kind of diminishes the whole last on a Krypton thing. But then again, that'd be spoilers. It's not necessarily a bad film, so I don't want to spoil it for you. Just in case you do want to see it, I guess. I suppose. I shouldn't spoil it, I suppose. So I won't say, but anyway, what was I going to say? Like I said, bad short-term memory sometimes. Cannot say. Yeah, I probably should have organised my thoughts a lot more on the way back before doing this. Then again, I just pretty much thought of this on my way in. I was just going to post a quick comment on Facebook like I find myself doing lately. Just rambling now, sorry. Well, that's basically the biggest problems there. Really iffy pacing. They get from point A to point B without showing a map of how they got there, so to speak. So you just wind up being kind of put off by confusion. Maybe not kind of a bit confusion, maybe, but it just seems clunky, I guess. So it's, in a sense, it could seem clunky, it could seem confusing, point being, but it didn't come across proper as it should. It didn't come across well. Some logic problems, stupid character actions. I forgot I was going to talk about action, wasn't I? Alright, okay. Sum up to the side for now. So the good points. Action. Action can be pretty good. With the Kryptonians, like I said, the whole superpowers and all that, it can come off as quite cool sometimes. But on that note, I don't know why I'm emphasizing. There isn't enough. There isn't quite enough action. And the action that should be pretty good, like Supes versus Zod and his ilk, it's just shot so shaky camily. It's so much shaky cam that it's not so much that you can't tell what's going on, it's just that sometimes you can only just tell what's going on. And that should not be the fucking case. You should be able to clearly see what's happening, unless there's a point to making us not being able to see what's happening. And we're supposed to be watching action. Why can't we see it? Okay. Yeah, we can't see it. We just have to focus a bit too much to have to make out what's going on. Okay, maybe that's kind of overselling it, but point being, you can only just, in a sense, you can only just tell what's going on. And the shaky cam itself, I hate shaky cam. It's distracting. Fecking distracting. Ugh. I'm going to overemphasize it. But point being, I hate shaky cam. Hate it. Hate it. More emphasis, maybe. Yeah. This is kind of weird because Zack Snyder, as far as I remember, he never did shaky cam Watchmen at 300, but then again, those were directly adapted from the comics panel for what I hear, so maybe he couldn't have done that because he was going for the whole panel for panel thing. I never saw Sucker Punch, but so I wouldn't really know. It's just weird how he suddenly goes to that. But on that note, on the Zack Snyder note, weirdly enough, there's no slow motion in this film. As far as I can see, as far as I can remember, there was not a single moment of slow motion, which for Zack Snyder is quite the accomplishment, because slow motion is his. He abuses it, maybe not more so, like quantity-wise, just kind of quality-wise. He uses it in such a way that makes Paul W.S. Anderson look kind of, makes it look like he kind of uses it well. To a degree. Paul Anderson's still shite with it, but if you ever seen 300 and to a lesser degree Watchmen, you'll know how weird he is with slow motion. But yeah, there's none of that in this film, so that's a kind of a plus, I guess, for considering it's a Zack Snyder film. There's no distractingly bad slow motion. But then again, that's just the absence of an optional thing, so I can't really say it works in the film's favour that much. Maybe a tidbit if you know who the director is, but that's just F, maybe. Okay, I'm still on action here now. Some of the action is pretty decent. Especially this one point with Ursa, where she's just zooming, punching guys. It really reminded me of Resident Evil 5 with Albert Wesker. How he moves faster than can be seen and smacks things. Not quite smacks things, but that's what she was doing. Moving, and I don't know if they were going for that faster than can be seen, but that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's only like once or twice. And there's some decent action between the whole Kryptonians, with super strength and all. Although I don't know if they might have done the whole throwing them away, just having to catch up to them a bit much, maybe just a bit. Like when they would throw them off to extreme distances and you have to go catch up. Maybe a bit iffy on how much is there, just a bit maybe. And again, the camera work is just distracting and kind of poor really. In that sense, in the sense how it's distracting, and again, you can only, in a sense, only just tell what's going on. okay, here's another thing. Character development. I'm going back into the bad stuff here. Character development, there's not enough of it. Not enough. And that's probably the biggest reason why you don't care. These characters barely have anything to them that, like, just two-dimensional. Basically, the most... yeah, like, there's not enough development for you to care. That's something... Any good director, any professional director should know this. Any professional director, writer, whatever, should know this. You have to care about the characters, and the way you care about the characters is getting to know them. That's one of the ways you can, at least. That's probably the most effective way. Well, maybe. Probably. Yeah, probably. That's the most effective way. Probably. I'm not 100% certain. I'm just saying that because, like I said, with old Jor-El, I kind of cared about him because of how cool he was, but at points. But yeah, it's probably you'll want to lean more towards development rather than just making them look cool. It's kind of shallow when you think about it. Pardon me. Pardon me. Kind of sad me who hasn't even finished their degree, the bachelor degree, mind you, in literature and film. I know more. I know these things. You have to make us care about the characters. And you need development to make us care about the characters, and yet professional Hollywood writers and directors utterly fail at it. It's like a friend of mine said, it's like, he called it MMS. I'm not gonna use that. Or modern movie syndrome. They just slap stuff on screen and expect you to care about it without giving us a reason to. It's pretty much this. That's pretty much this film in a nutshell. You don't care. You do not care. I certainly didn't. Maybe other people will be different, but me, I didn't, and I wouldn't call myself a film connoisseur, but I know enough about fiction. I care enough about enough characters to know, maybe to know kind of why I care about them. And by caring about them, I can kind of care about what happens to them. Like, even Iron Man 3, for how bad that story really was, I cared enough about what was happening to the characters, I guess. I've never been quite certain on the whole, if I care or not. I'm kind of only grabbing onto it now. But point being, I must have cared enough, probably, because there were actual fist-pumping moments in there. You know, I got enough into it to fist-pump. I don't know if that was maybe because of the other films, like Avengers and Iron Man 1 and 2, but point being, there were fist-pumping moments in that, and there were no fist-pumping moments in this film. Not the one, not only fist-pumping. Like I said, there was some cool stuff, but I can't really say there was fist-pumping. It was kind of the same in Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, I have plenty of problems with that film and all of Nolan's Batman films, but at least there, I must have cared enough about Batman himself. Again, maybe it's because of the other films, but maybe it was because of the other films, or maybe just because it was Batman. But point being, in there, I cared enough to be all when the best stuff happened to him. But there was nothing like that in Man of Steel. Nothing like that. Maybe I leaned out on my seat like once because there was a big fight coming. That was just that was just for aesthetic, shallow reasons. Not because I cared about the characters. I guess. Most likely that was the case. Probably. What else? Any other good stuff? The effects are pretty good. But, well, the effects only do so much. They only kind of help things along. They aren't the most important things. But they are pretty good. It's kind of a thing for me in some kinds. I don't know, maybe it's just somewhere between, you know. Yeah, it's just I know it's like at some point film effects somehow getting worse, but then again that happens all the time. Like the effects in Ang Lee's Hulk or Phantom Menace are brilliant compared to the modern Hulk or the other Star Wars prequels. But I'm getting off topic here. Decent, decent effects. The kind of alright to decent action. Kind of. Sort of. What else? What else? What else? You might care about Jor-El, but that's barely saying a thing when you only care about one character. And here's something I was thinking of. When you understand the villain's motivations, you understand the logic behind them, and you understand why they do it way more than you understand, within the confines of the one film, why the hero is a hero. That is very bad. I never had much confidence in how this film would go, with Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan being attached. I'm not saying Christopher Nolan is necessarily bad as a filmmaker. Like all Batman films, they are in and of themselves good films. Say maybe Dark Knight Rises, because it's got a lot of iffy points in it. Or bad, iffy. Maybe I have to watch it again, but there's plenty of stupid stuff in Dark Knight Rises. But again, Christopher Nolan, he's kind of decent with filmmaking. I can't overall quote, because frankly the only Nolan films I've seen are those three and that short film he put on YouTube or something. But I didn't expect things. I was not expecting. I didn't have much expectations. I was kind of dreading that there'd be iffy points with this film, because he severely mucked up all of the characters in the Batman films. And frankly, that has nothing to do with what's going on in Man of Steel, so I just wanted to say that. Because I never exactly had confidence in this film. I was looking forward to it, but I didn't exactly have confidence. So, yeah, a bad film, not terrible, but nowhere near good. Bad, real iffy camera work at points. Bloody shaky camera. It's called the tripod, people. What happened to tripods? Bring back the tripods! Iffy logic, stupid moments. I guess that kind of goes with the logic, but given how much the stupid moments just made me, a couple of the stupid moments anyway, just made me repeat myself what they should do. That's the thing. And worst of all, one of the biggest crimes I guess you can commit with any item of fiction. I didn't care. I did not care. You have to make me care. Why should I have to tell Hollywood professionals this? I have to care about the people, about the places, so that I can care about what's happening to them. And about probably the best, I'm just very uncertain of myself, likely the best way you can make me care is by developing the characters. We have to develop the characters, we have to understand them, we have to know them, we have to like them for us to care properly. And when there's just, and when even that, I'm just trying to say that at least at one point, stupidity keeps you from caring. Well, probably not caring, because if I was a twat in some way, in a way, but still, stupidity the stupidity you can see, the bad logic can kind of muck that up. At least in that one, but I just kind of wanted to bring that up. I don't know if there was something else in there, I can't even mind. Bye. Overall recommendation, I can't really say. Now, me, I'm a hardcore Soups fan, so I was going to go see it. Even after hearing some bad stuff, and again, I kind of avoided going to depth, so I wouldn't get any spoilers. I despise spoilers. Recommendation. Should you go see it? I wouldn't recommend it. It's not a film I'd recommend. Again, it's bad, but not terrible, but nowhere near good. And saying it's not terrible is hardly complimentary. Uh, you go see it. I can't even recommend this to hardcore Soups fans because, like I said, without character development, we can't care enough about Soups. I didn't quite exactly say that, but I'm saying it now. There's not enough character development with Soups to care about. At first, there's some pretty decent stuff in the first act. That's kind of a common theme I'm noticing. The first act being better than some stuff, at least character-wise in this film. The first act did some decent character stuff. Ooh, one last thing, at least in the whole what's bad about it, is the flashbacks. Now, they use flashbacks to explain, the background of Clark, of Soups. But that was a bad decision in my opinion. Because I don't know if I'm remembering it right or if I'm completely wrong, but I seem to recall that think that there might have been some things in there that kind of were meant to be big moments, and kind of stuff that not similar to fist pumping moments, but frankly you don't fist pump or whatever it is because there's no build up to it, because that build up is in flashbacks that we see after the stuff. But pretty much, yeah. I don't know if that happened all the time. I seem to recall it did happen. Maybe at least one or two things. Maybe I don't know if you know it was two things, but I seem to recall that happening. But yeah, I can't recommend this. I just can't. Not to Soups fans, not to fans of Christopher Nolan, not to fans of Zack Snyder. Nah, I can't. I can't recommend it. I don't recommend seeing it, but it's not exactly bad. It didn't make me angry or anything. Except maybe once, maybe twice, if I remember correctly. Although I can't say if I am. It's not like Dark Knight Rises, which bastardized things so badly that I just hate some stuff about that. So I can pretty much say that about all the Nolan Batman films. Just about any Batman film, really. Off topic. Yeah, and before anyone makes any bad comments, attacking me for hating on Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder, I can't comment on either of those really in any big sense, because this, 300 and Watchmen are the only Zack Snyder films I've ever seen. I've seen enough reviews of Sucker Punch to know it's bad, but I haven't seen it myself. And I can't count Watchmen 300 because they were adapted, basically directly adapted. Nolan, again, I hear he's done other stuff, well, probably obviously he's done other stuff apart from the Batman films, but I didn't like what he did there. He wrote that and directed them with his brother, with the writing part, he wrote with his brother, I think. So there's plenty of blame, so I can pretty much blame him entirely for everything I hate in those films. But I'm not necessarily saying that either of those two are bad. I can't say for certain. I'm just saying that there were things that they did that I hated. I'm not attacking them, I'm just critiquing. Okay, maybe I am kind of attacking them, but I'm not trying to offend. I'm just venting, critiquing, attacking. But like I said, I can't call either of them bad at what they do because I haven't seen enough of their stuff. Well, I can't much think of anything else to say off the top of my head. Just can't comment on the story. Don't care. I wouldn't recommend Man of Steel. I do not recommend it. I don't know if I can recommend against it either, because, like I said, it's not a film that'll outrage you. Isn't it? Hardcore fan of Soups, it didn't outrage me. So, I guess that's it for now. Bye. Now feel free to make any comments, tell me your own opinion, what you thought of the film. If you want to counter anything I said, then go ahead, I guess, but as any person, any proper critic will tell you, be reasonable, please, and actually explain. Please don't just give opinions without explaining them. I suppose I won't stop you overall from doing that, but I just ask that you detail them, that you be detailed in what exactly you like or dislike. But so comment and maybe I'll see you when I do another one of these things. And maybe it doesn't have to be on modern films. I might do something scripted for older films, or maybe I'll just do one of these for older films. But hopefully, maybe. So, cheerio in the net. Look after yourselves. Cheerio.